You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne. It's Niall. And it's the freshly pronounced COVID-19 negative, Brian.
Wait. Oh, don't say that.
Still got a cough. Still got a cough, which could be triggered. It is a bit better in the evenings, but in the morning, if somebody makes me laugh first thing in a work meeting, then I'm in trouble. On this episode, though, we are covering the anime that airs the week of the 19th of October 2020 to the 25th of October 2020. And I watched some of the things last week, some of them I didn't, but as always, just skip the episode, move on to the next one. I'm going to trust the animators to catch me up on anything that needs to be. So, as I said, yeah, I'm mainly coughing if I laugh too hard. So luckily that was not a problem watching Mr. Osomatsu Season 3, Episode 2. Dimwit Generation, Hatabou Eats, Let's Be Quiet at Night, Sham Dr. T, Triangle Pop, and Delivery. Don't think I laughed once through the entire episode. Which is a shame, I enjoyed last week.
Where they're kind of going like, oh, those other fuckers, like the popular characters arguing about... Wait, is it the popular voice actors or popular characters? But they're arguing about the other three brothers, basically.
This would be a much more wholesome show, a cooler show people would like if it wasn't for those other three.
It's like, wasn't for those fucking weirdos. Oh, now, yeah.
You know those three are going to be on this show tomorrow as well, saying the exact same thing, right? No, don't let them on TV. Osomatsu's not allowed on TV. It's too hot.
Yeah. This was the episode where I realised my two favourite characters are the two favourite characters who overtook the show in its first two incarnations. I was like, give me more Chibita and Iyami. We get a tiny bit of Chibita in the next one, Hatabou Eats. Where Hatabou has become a... what would you call him? It's like an Uber Eats. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
But specifically for Hatabou's food stand. So...
Chibita's food stand.
Chibita. Sorry. Yeah, I'm mixed up then. For Chibita's food stand. But he's just a little kid. He can't do it. That's a big bag you got there, kid. Yeah, he's not very good.
Then Let's Be Quiet at Night. They annoy the two side characters who are actually in a healthy relationship, who occasionally show up to be annoyed by the six brothers.
To be fair, I was kind of on the brother side, but that's like after like a year of living in the middle of town, where it's just like motherfuckers do not give a shit. Yeah.
Then we got Sham Dr. T, which I assume is a parody of something specific.
There's Super Dr. K. But I don't do the same thing. I think he's a doctor, but he's also very macho and manly. So a lot of his operations usually type some kind of death-defying stunt.
Whereas the opposite here, it's about being cute and girly, and not doing any work.
It's supposed to be like, they got some aspect of them. They're the hotshot doctor, but they got a bad attitude, but
he gets results.
Approaching medicine, it papers over their shitty attitude. Yeah, they get results, and take a pick on that.
Triangle Pop was the blue one and the yellow one. I've now forgotten their names.
Jujutsu. Yeah, just hanging out at the convenience.
I guess I did laugh at that one as well, because it did remind me of just when you're hanging out with someone and you're not doing anything funny, but it's kind of funny where like him trying to lean back on the chair and just like, oh, let's see how far I can get, and just going like, nice.
It was a little nice to see them, the two brothers not tearing strips off each other in like that. Like, just like maybe just away from the rest of the, or the other four in their influence, they actually can have these little moments together.
They can just be dumbasses together. One of them can go through far much trouble through Photoshop to make a porn fucking advertiser specifically for his brother.
Yeah. Oh, you know me so well. However, as Brian says, yeah, it's warm and cuddly and all in their own way. But where's the funny at?
Yeah. It's very light.
And then the second half of the episode is Delivery, in which The brothers are delivered twin AIs, they describe themselves as, who have been sent by people they refuse to mention who has sent them, amongst various other things they refuse to do. But it appears to be this maybe a plot, an ongoing plot.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
And it seems to be a commentary on how AI and automation will actually make NEETs the default state of human beings.
It's like they're practicing for the future when robots will be running everything anyway. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get the shittiest, laziest motherfuckers we can find and practice on them. Like, get the algorithm right for them.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a good start on it.
Yeah. There's another way they can go with that is that, maybe with these kind of progressions, you might be able to understand a little bit and not immediately write off anybody who is NEET status, because you don't know what they got going on in the situation.
To be fair, the brothers are probably going to make it look bad. Yeah.
But it probably won't do that. It's not the wrong anime to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And my main thought was, how long is it going to be before they try fucking these robots?
I mean, like, fairly fucking quick, nearly in this episode, right?
They got as far as porn. I mean, they're just testing the waters there, and it's going to be like a few episodes in. So, are you a pleasure model?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's a lot.
No, they use the robots to use VR sex fucking games, though.
They do, yes.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, it was a lot of. It felt like a lot of putting stuff down for later. It wasn't super. It was just them getting the robots to do chores for them and indulge them, except for the purple one who was not happy with this situation.
So yeah, maybe that's why I wasn't funny, because for some reason, unexpectedly, was a plot episode
this early on.
Yeah.
Because then we see at the end when they've gone back and they're in some sort of weird tank, and you assume it'd be the mad scientist character sent them, but no, they'd probably have blown up and caused more chaos than what they actually do. But I missed a Yami. I wanted more Yami. Even last week, which had a Yami, I was still wanting more Yami.
Sometimes he's too fucking much for me, and I kind of get sick of him. But I get where you're going with here. Yeah, for sure.
Too many characters. Can't get to them all.
Yeah,
you could, but they seem to favor some over the others. So what can you do?
But the best bit's the ending credits.
Oh, they've really come on now in the stop motion animations they've been making with those. This is just like we're going full on like movement cycles with a cat and a fish. It's pretty good.
But yeah, at the moment, this is the thing most likely to leave once Gal Dino is back for my schedule.
I was going to say, but Gal Dino's short, and I was like, no, it's not short. It just feels like that in the good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, it's still doing the sketch thing, but I'm like, since the last season, we've had Pop Team Epic, we've had Gal Dino, we've had Late Night Tensai Bakabon, where I find the gags in that were funnier than here, and I guess
I genuinely sorry, go on.
A lot of this season seems to be so far that the joke is the ludicrousness of bringing the characters back for a third series.
Yeah, like the joke with the AI was like, "Hey, we're from the what's it, Heisei era?
Showa, yeah, because Showa,
sorry,
yes, they're from what Ray. He's like, it's the Ray era now. We should know what AI is. Totti's like putting them all down, and then obviously the thing is like he doesn't know what AI means either.
Like they're all old fashioned, they're all old hat, but it's like it's not so much that, and I really want the show to be good, but like sketch comedy and cartoons has kind of moved on considerably, like in a couple of fucking years rather than like in fucking decades or whatever. Yeah,
there was a kind of fear we had last week that it kind of came back. Well, it seemed like a jokey attitude. Well, we're just going to do our thing again. There's nothing else like this on telly right now, so you're stuck with us. And is that enough? Yeah. There's one thing to make a joke about that, but then don't actually do it as well either, because we need to see. Because you were guys who were pushing the bar before. Why is that as far as you can go? We want to believe in you. Give us some more.
But then we've got Golden Kamuy episode 27, Igogusa. Which is mainly a flashback I thought had happened already, but I guess I must have just read it in the comic.
Yeah, you just
Different horrible war story.
I really enjoyed this one. Like, in contrast, it's just the way it goes, like truth, but actual truth, but thing, and then at the end you're just like, was any of that true? And it's just like, yeah, you don't fucking know, and
it's
nicely
weird
framed.
because yes, but the start of it though is not what we're just talking about. It is
Yeah, of course, it's the repercussions from last time.
it's Kuraranki and the sniper dude discussing about how to handle a Serpa and to get her to either tell them the secrets of the tattoos, which we know she doesn't know.
Either she doesn't know, or she's playing dumb, is what they're thinking. But like, if we can tell her what the secret is, then we'll get her on board. We need her to trust us, and I'm going to take her to someplace that's definitely going to make her want to tell us if she knows.
Yeah, we get some more history of her father as well.
Yeah, a lot of the history of the her people, like, been just fucking shunted around by other people's wars, that kind of fucking thing.
Yeah, we do kind of one kind of shitty thing is happening, and I think Ogata just sees her as, well, we got her. This is going to be like our ace in the hole. It's gonna, I mean, if we,
it doesn't matter how many tattoos you have, you need the interpreter. Yeah.
If we really get her talking, if she's the saint, she doesn't know what the code is, then we've got the fast track here. Where Kuraranki is usually more all in on this. It's like, no, she's going to be like the savior of our people, and I'm going to show her the truth about that, of why we are doing this.
Why she should be on our side, because I'm on the side that she'll want to win, basically. Yeah. At least that's the way he sees it, for sure.
And then we're back with the guys chasing them, and Tsukishima.
They're letting your man off, and I do like the bit that kind of ties into him learning Japanese, where it's like he says a whole sentence in Russian, and he's just like, it's like, wow, you speak Russian real good. It's like, dude, if you want to wrestle in Russia, you're gonna have to learn Russian. I don't want to see your ass back in Japan.
I believe we do catch up with him occasionally, just to see how it's going.
Okay,
climbing the ranks. If you would stink a champion.
And then Tsukishima's like, and you lose control against Sugimoto, I'm putting a bullet in you. Can't have you going berserk on us.
Sick of this tomfoolery. No more of this.
And then we get her flashback as the reason why he's against people going berserk and losing control is because he did that once.
He did that for a considerable portion of his youth, it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, but specifically just running in and bludgeoning his father to death without actually getting any information beforehand.
Well, that, and he just used to run wild when he was a kid because how shitty his father was, basically. So is it we get the conversation with him and the
and Tsurumi in the jail cell?
Yes.
It starts with the conversation with them before. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Cell,
and
before
Tsukishima,
the Russian-Japanese war.
And Tsukishima, he's like explaining, but all it was is like, with woman are being loved in the village. Her hair was like kind of like long and curly, like Igogusa, like the seaweed that grows nearby, and people made fun of her for that. But I thought it was a really nice name, and she also called me by my name. So naturally, we were to be wed because we got out of layer that they were fiancés.
Yeah, it's basically like, when I come back from the war, I'm going to marry you. We're going to elope, basically, was his plan.
Yeah.
The other key thing is about his youth is that he and his father lived on the outskirts of the village because the villagers considered the father to be a murderer already.
Yeah, like he wasn't caught for anything, but he was a social pariah.
Yeah, because that's the important bit, because then that brings into question, because there's all the various we get. Because essentially it's a tale of Tsurumi telling various stories to Tsukishima to move him along with his life. But then other people introduce facts which are also introduced into Tsurumi's story. So we know as a viewer and as a reader in the comic that there's certain facts which are inordinately true. In that they thought Tsukishima was dead in the village when he came back and discovered that his fiancée was missing. And we know that a body was dug up from under his father's house.
So his initial story was that he was going to come back from the war, and marry her, but everyone in the village was acting really weird, like they didn't know him, and she wasn't to be anywhere to be seen. And he thought that she'd killed herself because a rumor had spread throughout town of he died in the war. And he's like, who the fuck spread that rumor? As he was searching for her, spent days searching for her body in the ocean, like not only 10 days before he came back from the war. And he realized it was his dad. So he just beat him to fucking death without actually questioning him. Like you say, it's just a kind of berserk thing. It was like, next thing I know, my dad was like gurgling on the fucking floor covered in blood. And I was like, oh, okay. And that's why he's he's on death row, isn't he?
Yes.
For that crime. And according to the sergeant guy, he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, like, I'm going to need you for this war thing because you speak like perfect Russian. He's like, I don't speak Russian at all. What the fuck are you talking about? That's right. You speak absolutely flawless Russian. A man like you, I'm going to need. And he's like, I don't get where you're going with this, dude. This is a really weird take.
You'll learn Russian like a life depended on it.
So Ruby goes to the village and looks for clues. And he comes back and he explains to Tsukishima that what actually happened was that her parents bought off your dad and
bought off the village.
Bought off the village, essentially, yes, because they wanted to marry her off to a rich family in Tokyo. And so I've been to Tokyo, I've met her, and she said to give you this ring of hair.
Like in the village, they basically spread the rumor that she did kill herself, but she didn't know this herself, that she killed herself, threw herself off the cliffs, and so everyone in the village is like, oh, that's a tragedy, she killed herself, whereas she actually moved to Tokyo to marry some rich guy, because the family were like, you want to marry a thug or a rich guy? We want her to marry the rich guy.
And isn't it so so the hair can be buried with him when he's executed for the murder?
Yeah, because he said he loved my hair so much to bury this lock of my hair with him if you know where his body is. Is why she passes that on to the sergeant, and he kind of takes that, and it gives him kind of new resolve, I suppose. Yeah.
And so with that, so he goes along with Sarumi then on the Russian front, because the previous war was with the Chinese.
Yeah.
And then they run into just a random guy. Yeah.
Just a guy happened to be from his hometown, meets in the battlefield, or in the same recuperation tent together.
They're
It's
in
like,
the same
hey,
infirmary.
Tsukishima, thought she died, man. Oh, nah, man, just leave me alone.
Like everyone in the village was fairly sure you died, dude. It's like you know everything that happened after you fucking left, right? You know, it kind of gets onto the thing. I was like, wait, what? Because they're all convinced of a different truth than he knew.
Yeah.
Or he was told, at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
According to your man, the sergeant like unearthed her bones underneath the dad's house or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
And he had a lock of her hair, and it's all kind of like crazy fucked up. And they were all like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe we thought he murdered his dad. He actually murdered the murderer. You know, so he wasn't mad about this guy. He was just like, oh yeah, you killed a murderer. That's good.
Well, that's what he tells him at the end.
Yeah, that's.
No, I'm talking about the other villager.
Yes, bit.
That story. Right. Yeah, but that story there, the story that he's possibly fabricated in the village, is not for Tsukishima's benefit. It's for the prison's benefit and the village's benefit to get him out off the death row. Because he's no longer on death row because he murdered a murderer.
Yeah.
Because then at the end he comes back and they're back to the original story that she's in Tokyo. And this is an entirely different body, possibly the one which the people suspected the father of murdering in the first place, or none of this happened, or he got an entirely separate body, buried it.
It's because basically he hears from this guy in his village that it's like, yeah, your dad killed the woman you love, and the sergeant found it out. So he kind of confronts the sergeant. He's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you tell me this shit? He's like, I needed you to get back up off your ass. What I did was I fabricated by planting a bunch of human bones underneath the fucking house, and I go like, look at these human bones, and
he didn't plant them. I think he just explains that he dug up some bones but they're not hers.
Oh, yeah. That your father did murder people. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, like at this stage, I guess my brain is thinking you probably planted those.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the
you probably
thing.
do.
That's the thing. But at the same time, we've got that bit right from the start that the village considered the dad a murderer in the first place, and we have no
Yeah.
knowledge whether or not the woman he was in love with is alive. We've only got Surumi's word for it. But weirdly, no matter how many times Surumi changes his story, all the other external facts make you think the final version is the true one.
So the true one is that she did go off to Tokyo. It was a big cover up.
Yes.
He did murder his father. Obviously, he knows that himself. But Surumi made it look like he murdered her in order to get him off death row. Sorry, his father murdered her in order to get Surumi off death row. Because it's like, oh, it was her fiance killed him in a fit of rage because he murdered his fiance. Yeah. And it's just like, and be like, oh yeah, that's how you got him off death row. But then, like, and as they're saying this bit, like, the guy who tells the story is passing out the tent, and I was like, wait, so was that guy just telling one story that no one else in the village believes? I don't fucking know anymore, man. But anyway, yeah, sorry.
I think it's
That's always
mainly
the bit where it's-
it's mainly there to like show how quick-witted Surumi is and how
Yes.
he gets, because even when Tsukishima's mad at him part of the way through the battle, he still saves Surumi's life. And like the look on Surumi's face of like this, I've got this guy, absolute loyalty, as
Yeah.
his
Like,
face is being
he's got this
blown
guy
off.
so hard that he's going to throw him into the ditch, into the bunker, and take most of the blast to the face. It's just like, yeah, because I got this guy in my pocket. I'm grand. That's the kind of confidence he has in himself.
Yes.
And it's not I mean, like, when we're talking about it, it sounds like it's flip-flopping back and forth between truths and lies and stuff. It's fairly easy to understand, and I appreciate that. It's very well put together.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're not entirely sure which is the truth at the end is part of it, and it works so fucking well for it.
There's so many changing alliances, and even then, the true identity of Astropa's father, is it the same? No Pero born to prison, and what his actual motivations? Because he didn't take the gold, as we know, but only Sugimoto is the only one who knows that.
And as a Serper points out, like, it's like, why did he fucking kill a bunch of what he presumably were their own people? It's a thing that really gets her. It really annoys her.
Yeah, and I mean, Akira Ranke has his own version of that going on in his head. It seems he's trying to bring a Serper and over that end. So it's all about these kind of justifying these truths for yourself, and the actual version of events you can't quite pin down, but it just keeps you guessing. You know, it's what keeps it engaging.
But we should also mention what Surumi is up to in the present day, and that is treating Nikaido as if he was a cat.
Oh yeah.
How is it that these guys, they're like, oh, you sneaky bastard, oh, he's such a dick, and then it's like, what shenanigans are they up to today?
Yes.
They still manage to be fucking cartoon comedy characters at the same time as being manipulative murderers. I
Yes.
don't understand how they balance that, but they fucking do.
Yeah, basically he's trying to lure Nikaido out from underneath his hospital blanket with morphine.
Like, here, eat your food.
Yes.
Eat your food. I'll give you the morphine. He's like, oh, okay. And it's like, look, I left a pair of chopsticks for you. It's like, Sergeant, his hand got chopped off. And he's like, he goes under the blanket again.
Oh,
It's
I
like,
know what you want. I got a
Yes.
present for you. The general's coming. He's invented a new prosthetic. Oh, I bet it does something cool. It's not just a regular prosthetic hand. Nope, it's definitely not. Check it out. If you click like so,
the middle
extend
finger,
the
I think.
index finger. Inside is, and the Kaio's going, There's a little holder for your chopsticks. Isn't that neat? Is it? Oh, you disappointed him. The poor little fella.
Arasaka may be the happiest character in the entire show. It's not that Surumi has the brain damage to explain why his mood is always so high. Arasaka is just naturally this way. That he loves.
Isn't he a little bit deaf as well?
He is,
Oh,
yes.
That's why
yeah.
he's always shouting. Like, that's what one of the times where he goes under the blankets again, where he goes in, hey, everyone! It's just like, hides again like the sick cat that he is. All these fucking weirdos, all these complete assholes and murderers, and it's just like, he's sad.
Yeah, I it's the thing of like, there's a lot of characters who've got disabilities and they're presented in a positive light, even if they might be evil. But this guy is such a jerk; it gets away with making fun of his situation. Partly, mainly because every time he gets into a fight with Sugimoto, another bit gets lopped off.
Yeah, he misses another part of his body. Oh dear.
Oh, he's like fucking a more visceral and realistically horrifying version of Dormammu from Dragon Half. But you get blown up down to just a head on
He
legs,
does,
isn't
yes.
he?
He
Yeah,
does. But yeah, this was another good episode. It's holding up well.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Extra Olympia Kyklos, episode 22. White Lie. The folk song,
You bet it is.
just like all anti-war folk songs, did not work. War is still on. And this is too much for Demetrius, and so he gets Zeus to send him into the future.
I think I saw in the comments other people saying it's like, wait, there was a second verse to that song?
They got their own song for him. Demetri useless, Demetri useless. Well, we got more words. Don't run away in tears.
And then he finds himself at the Olympic. Well, he says it's in a marathon that he thinks they're being chased by bandits on horses, which are actually the police chasing a naked man through the streets of Tokyo.
During a marathon.
Yeah, so he gets caught up in the marathon, ends up in the Olympic Stadium, where he is saved from jail by the professor, who then explains to him in between scenes why they were running so far. And
that they're running that far, it's like a global event. That's why there's people of races, all races here, that kind of thing.
But I think also specifically like the idea that marathon is still remembered.
Yeah, the idea of the specific story,
thousands
the
of
marathon,
years
that would be,
future. Yeah,
that's super poetical. Even now,
in his future, it seems shit right now, or back then in your present time. But here in the future, things have gotten a little bit better in some regards. It's not all great either. We still have world wars, as I told you about last week. But things will get better. They won't last forever.
They're improving. Yeah.
And then we get the Bard's diss track on Johann Winkelmann. Yes.
Winkelmann. Yeah. That's a good one, because I do love seeing those ancient Greek statues and buildings and stuff painted up properly with all the gaudy ass fucking neon colors. Get the neon markers out, lads. Fucking coloring in time. Because that's the thing with classical statue. It always looks like it's like a sketch, and it has that kind of like raw beauty to it. But it's like, but then you have to bring out the coloring pencils and the crayons and fucking get going.
But it's transposed then with this study of his, or like Wickerman was proponent of this model of statuary as evidence of this like genetic superiority of the people who dwell in these regions, which is obvious in their sculpture left behind, and as well because he uses the fact that they didn't color them in because the white symbolized their purity. Again, it's balancing these kind of fucking heinous beliefs. So it feels like, at the end when they're like, everyone put on whatever gaudy ass colors you want, be whatever the hell you want to be. It's all right. It's cool. Don't listen to Winkelmann, man. He's a shithead.
Which is a good point. But also, it's absolutely crazy that there is a cartoon with this song in it. There's such specific satire and commentary. And the fact that they've done it multiple times. I think it's up there with the diss track on Nero. I think Nero 1 is still my favourite of these weird...
I think my favourite is the anti-Spartan diss track, where they've been like several episodes in a row, like the Spartans, fuck the Spartans. Also, very progressive towards women's rights.
Yes.
Which is one of the songs. That's a good job, guys.
The Villager A was a very good song last week.
That's true as well. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, definitely. As relevant now as the time it was written, 2020.
Then we've got Jujutsu Kaisen episode 4. Curse Wu must die.
The name of our new heavy metal album, and shops right this Christmas.
I've forgotten how fucking hardcore this show goes very early into shit. Yeah.
Sure, one was just left out last week. We're going to get sushi dinner. We're all best friends. Ha 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 ha. And one of these children will die next week. Told him right into it though.
I believe that's a plot point which will come up in the next episode. Is you've kind of thrown them right into it.
Yes, it seems kind of weird. Like, in the curse room, it can be visible by non-Jujutsu sorcerers. It's appeared in the sky. It's one built up this entire juvenile detention facility, based on kind of the level of negative energy inside. The curse is like a manifest out of this room. Could possibly be a special grade when you get the whole powerful thing. You know, it's like
we have our point of view
pretty
character
shit,
going like
so one is actually
what?
pretty good. Then
Yeah.
off the scale is it was like what's in terms of what it would take to kill them. Like you could probably take this off on with a knife, shotgun, you'd be doing all right. A tank might not cut it, and then like all the way
Carpet
up to
bombing.
on carpet bombing it'd be about 50-50, but even footing there.
Yeah, I like it, and I like the fact we have our character to explain. Is like, and he's like, what's special grade mean? And the other two are like, fucking newbie, whatever. And the guy's happy to be the nerdy dude. Is like, I could explain what that is, and he's I'm gonna put my mask over this so that no one can see the craziness that's about to fucking happen. And he's like, whoa, cool. It's like, no, that's the glasses guy's power. His power sucks. Don't get impressed by that.
Yeah, I'd really like the poor Ichiji and the rest of the Jujutsu Kaisen middle management who just show up to do all the admin on site and put up all of the barriers so that the civilians can't see what's going on.
He talks directly to the civilian mother who's like, my kid isn't there. Is he going to be okay? And he's like, madam, there's a gas leak. We can't let you in there. And she's just freaking out. He's come up with all the lies and all the real, the thankless jobs. Yeah. The
real human cost of this. He has to go and tell this woman why her son is dead. You know, we killed the monster. Like, you get to do all the fun jobs. I gotta do all the harrowing shit.
Yeah, as he explains, this is a special grade, which generally, we don't have our top boy going at that, but he's away on business. Often we're very short-handed. Literally, we've 3 first years for this school this year. We don't have many dudes. Yeah.
Well, gotta go in.
If it is a special grade and you do see it, you can either run away or die. Those are your options, basically. Best of luck. Off you go.
Goes wrong immediately as they pass through the door, and then the door vanishes behind them, and they're inside the innate domain, which a curse can conjure up. This is warped, evil space where bad things happen.
The building is much bigger on the inside than the outside, and they're kind of like, wait, wasn't this like a 2-story building? What the fuck? Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, you're in its own space now, and your man's like, don't worry, the dog will be able to sniff the way back out.
Yeah, dogs are nice. I've always liked how he decided to just kind of shut up at no fun.
I do like that, yeah.
I do like how the pair of them, when like congratulating the dog rather than him.
Yeah, good boy.
Good boy. That's manifestation of my power, but all right, if you want to pet it, go for it.
I would say around this point, I was like, oh, the animation's dropped off a bit, but that's probably because they were saving themselves for the second half of the episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Because once they meet the first of all they find a corpse, which is this
they find 3 corpses.
3 corpses, but only one of them is identifiable.
Yeah, he still has his torso and head and his name tag.
Like, poor Tanaka. Is my son Tanaka or from Shinichi Tanaka in there? It's like, oh man, we gotta bring his body out to that poor weeping mother. That's fun. No. We gotta find rest of the survivors. You need to buy one. But we're not going back this way. We're not bringing it out first. Full stop.
Yeah. The thing of him, like the harshness of him kind of going is like, we're not going. I didn't say we're going to come back. I said leave him there. We'll rescue anyone who is alive, and other than that, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Well, no, he said he wasn't going to rescue anybody he wasn't planning on rescuing in the first place, and they explained.
He was going like dead. Okay, let's get out.
But no, he was saying that because he says, "Oh, this guy ran over a child. It was his second offence. I had no intention of rescuing him in the first place. You say you want to rescue everybody, but what if one of the people you rescue kills somebody?
What if you rescue double Hitler? Ooh."
And then I can't remember her name, the girl with the nails. She yells at them both for being macho idiots, and then she falls through the floor.
And they're like, wait, shouldn't the dog have said something? Oh, the dog is a bloody smear on the wall now. And there's the curse right beside us. We're in a lot of trouble. We're in a heaping load of trouble right now. They can't even move. They have to really force themselves to move due to the sheer fear this thing is exerting on them.
Yeah, it's laughing at them. It's just
But
like,
fortunately, our boy can grab his knife, take a swing, and lose that same hand.
Chop his own hand off. Yes.
Oh dear.
Grisly stuff. Yes, I'd take the belt that was the knife belt and just fucking like have
Make a tourniquet, yeah.
tourniquet for his arm, yeah.
And he says it's like, well, tell you what, you go get her and get the fuck out of here. Send me a signal when you're out, and I'll let your man loose. Because he's talking to him there. He's like, I'm gonna let you loose. Do you want to fight him? He's like, no, I'm gonna kill the humans first. Then I'll fight the fucking curse if you let me out. Ha ha. And he's like, all right, so you get out of here, send me a signal, and I'll hold this guy off for as long as I can. And he's like, but you only got one hand. It's like, so I'm the best one to sacrifice right now. It's not a great plan, but that's the only one they got.
You know, he's still like being very simplistic in his thinking as well, because he's forced to confront like maybe your actual resolve to go through with this it might not be up to stuff. And really like as well how we've noticed, probably through course it always does this, and we just noticed how it really tends to line up some of these which are based on a longer running comic, how it tends to episode seems to air, and it's echoing the themes of what's going on in the current right now, because it's also like came like, you know, oh, you got to try and like defeat this fucking curse to the guy that's going to get away, but I'm afraid I don't want to die, but I'm probably going to die, but if I die with these kind of regrets in my heart, I can go back as a curse, and it's even worse than this one, and that's being echoed again in the current events of the comic. It's like, oh, that's Domus doing that to be spotted, and one other thing as well, it's doing it here too.
Well, there's an even weirder thing this week where it's an entirely different adaptation is reflecting another comics events this week. But
either it's excellent fucking work by like the editors and stuff trying to get that stuff to sync up, or these shows and comics are very good at stating their themes and continuing those themes.
I think that's that's it.
Yeah.
Particularly Jujutsu Kaisen, because of the stuff in episode 2, it was like, oh yeah, that's it spelt out, and that's the thing which is echoing in the current comics. More than everything. He's like questioning. He's like wanting to die a good death, and instead he's gonna die powerless. But then he hears the howl after they've got out. It's a weird situation because she's fighting these masks and she runs out of nails, and then we cut back and she's fighting an entirely different curses, like the real
she's
form
like, okay,
of it.
you're the main head, but I'm gonna fucking get you, and as she's being lowered into its mouth. So I'm guessing it was just like, I was kind of hoping we'd see more of what the fuck that was about, but
but in fairness to her, while they're dealing with that one curse above there, she's been down in the pits just fucking fighting these things off. She's busted her hammer at this stage, running out of nails, but she's presumably killed off the first wave because they're number 4 in phase, and then these other ones come out, and she's just been killing things, massacring them all the while.
Just sheer numbers she's overwhelmed by.
So they hear the howl, that's the signal, and so then he gives Sukuna the body, and Sukuna's like, okay, so what would annoy the human the most? Oh, if I teamed up with this guy. Come on, we're gonna go and kill the human, and the curse.
The thing is terrified of him.
Yes.
Obviously.
Try to have a go anyway. Like, don't try and fight me. I'm coming up with a plan here.
Listen, you're a little baby. You were born here, so I know you want to stick around here. So I tell you what, I'm gonna drag your fucking ass over here to kill the humans, or maybe I'll just kill you first. How about that?
He accidentally grows the hand back.
Blocking the shots. It's like, shit, I fucking healed him. Son of a bitch. He grows the hand back, and he did lose his fingers in another explosion, which it was just like, we're going to take his hand and his fingers? Cool. Real nice thing. But obviously, they did undo that fairly quickly, which the baddie is, obviously. I'm annoyed about it.
Now, where did this episode end? And because it ends in the middle of a chapter, and I can't remember where it ends. I don't want to give anything else away.
The way it ends in this one is he goes like, all right, fuck it, I guess I'm fighting this curse, and he expands his own domain, chops this guy into bits, into ribbons, and he's like, I meant to chop you into 3. I didn't realize you were as weak as I thought you were.
That's why I thought.
Pulls
that was
the finger out and goes like, cool, that's another bit of me. And then he's like, all right,
I'm done. You can come back.
Hello. It's just me in here. That's where it ends.
Yeah, and then after the credits, we get a goofy thing where they try and hold their mobile phones on their shoulders.
Not a smart thing to do in the era of touchscreens.
It's so weird that they have this like, hey, here's the goofy bit, and I was like, can you do the goofy bit right after all that shit went down?
Oh man, they could kick it into the funky like in credits music.
That's true. Yeah.
That's going to change that. I like it right now, but it's going to get a point in the story where like you don't want to be ended on that.
Yes, you do.
Dramatic
you do. I feel like that's why they've exactly chosen that. So it doesn't feel like Tokyo
totally fucking
Ghoul.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be pretty apt for the sometimes callous and indifferent nature of some of the sorcerer, some of the good guys have towards the human tragedies of their job. But I guess that goes they're just inured to us, and it's just a mindset you might have trouble understanding.
Next week, though, we get Shigeru Chiba. His character will be showing up. I was just going to check whether there was any in the end AMVs for Jujutsu Kaisen yet. Yes, 2 days ago.
Just waiting for the right amount of gray, rainy skies to come in.
Yeah, okay. That's another one for the pile, for that never-ending pile.
Yes.
Also, someone getting disintegrated in an explosion, going like, "No!" Needed lots of that too.
Then next up, we've got With a Dog and a Cat. Every day is fun, except last week's episode, which involved a dead cat.
Well, it was the fun memory of the dead cat.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
But this time it is about dogs and cats. Dogs sleep like this. Cats sleep like this.
Isn't it weird?
It is. I mean,
what is the deal with cats and sleeping?
And then the second half is what they were like as a kitten and a puppy. And the puppy was just as stupid as it is as an adult. But the kitten had a completely different personality as it has as an adult cat.
It was very nervous. He was a little nervous boy. And he's there trying to cover up his poop, and it's like, oh no, I got poop on me. And then he's like holding himself above the litter tray, and she's like, how the fuck did you even manage to get in that position?
And then we cut back to today, and he's just glowering at the owner, saying, shut up and scoop. Doesn't even bother covering his shit anymore, right? Just leaves it out in the open.
Well, you can see how grossed out he was by it, so yeah, I get it.
It's just sort of, like, I still need you to take care of me and clean up the shit for me, but I'm going to have a really worse attitude about it. I haven't changed at all.
The puppy its thing was that it misunderstood what fetch was, because it wouldn't go and fetch the ball, so she pushed the puppy along the wooden floorboards towards the ball, and so now it thinks that's the game of fetch.
Yeah, works on children too, or give them the joy, but like you just do something stupid with it, and then that's the fun bit. I want to do that again.
The sleeping thing was like how the puppy. Well, if you petted it during its sleep, its bad dream would turn into a happy one.
Of being petted.
And the cat needing its blanket as a flashback to when it was a baby. And she's like, are you dreaming about when you were a baby? And it's sleeping with its eyes open.
The eyes rolling back in the head. What kind of dreams are you having?
This is a solid 2-minute short that we can spend ages fucking talking about.
minute 25. It doesn't even approach
you're right,
2
it's
minutes.
shorter than I even think it is. Fucking hell.
It's 25-second opening and then about a minute episode.
It's just summarizing in 10 seconds. It's like, it's faster. Let's go watch it. It's pretty good. Go now.
Yeah. Then we got Dragon Quest Episode 4, The Dark Lord Hadlar's Return. In which, is it Avan?
Avan, the hero's tutor, who should be paid attention to the credits. Don't get too attached to him. He's too cool to live.
I do like how he is cool, and yet his design is totally not cool, but he is cool at the same time. And it turns out we learned in this episode he was the previous hero.
Yeah, there was like kind of a fun, really kind of gaudy, tawdry, shop-worn kind of vibe to him. We kind of think he's kind of a bit like Reagan Arataka. Like this guy, you know, like looking at it isn't genuine, but he has this kind of confidence about him. We can kind of papers over some of the questionable design choices he has. Just a little shitty business card drawn in marker, you know, all the little bits, you know.
He's got the skills. He can train you pretty good, but he has bad taste in clothes and hair and a bunch of things. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, he turns himself into a dragon to train Dai, so Dai can learn wave slash. That's what it's called.
Air slash.
No, it is a wave slash because it's kind of cuts like a wave to
it's the one for cutting the water.
Things like fire
yeah.
or water.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, cutting fire, air slashes. I was like, somehow this is reflected in this week's chapter of One Piece.
That's true. Yeah.
It may be a direct callback or a indirect influence.
Well, there's a dragon, and they're on a quest.
That is dragon, and there's I mean, the air slashes don't do as much. They only like cut his nose, as opposed to
really hurts though.
What happens in this week's One Piece?
You know, like when you get like a paper cut on like your fingertip, or worse, like between your fingers on your nose. That's a terrible place to get a small amount of damage. It's like
it's a gusher. Oh. Okay, test over. You pass. Gosh.
So then they do another spell, an ice spell, to cool his nose down, and then Dark Lord Hadlar returns, as in the title.
He's been walking across the ocean on the way to the island, it's a pretty cool visual, like just stomping his way across the seas to kick this island's ass.
And yeah, he's back. He's fitter and younger than ever. Apparently, he's been brought back to them the death by the Dark King Vern.
Yeah. To see how younger and fitter he is, we're going to burn all his clothes off so you can see his rippling abs and pecs.
Yeah. And his thing was like, oh, you think I'm the shit. It's like, nah, there's a guy better than me. Which then your man kind of uses against him. Is like, well, you're not even the main boss. Whatever, dude. Which is a good way to piss him off, yeah.
So he gets into a fight with Avan, Dai, and Dai tries to interfere, and Pop try to interfere, but Dai tries to specifically interfere. Pop tries to not interfere because
let's hide behind a rock.
We should run. We're not high enough level to fight this guy. So then Pop tries to rescue Dai, and Hadlar's like, you're not even worth fighting. You run, little kids, run, and you're not even bother fighting you. And then he notices that Dai's cut his finger. And he's like, no, all apostles of Avan must die. Can't let him have anybody training running around who might be able to hurt me. So he fires a massive spell at them, and then Avan leaps in the way, blowing the back of his jacket off.
Oh no, not the jacket.
I think that's where we leave it, with him protecting the kids. Not much happens, but bloody hell, it looks great as it's happening.
Oh man, just like the duel is just we're supposed to be like larger spells, and we're going to go kaboom, and then we're going to go sizzle. We're going to go another sizzle again. It's like, I'm going to cut all those things down.
And even non-action stuff looks good. There's like the bit when Pop goes to get Dai after he's fallen against Hadlar. It's like just the angle they put Pop at juxtaposed in the frame of the TV screen.
They're like flicking him around, just like slam, and I'm just like, oh Jesus, that's a little kid. Even if he's super muscly, that looks really painful.
It's highly enjoyable stuff.
Yeah, it's just like it's entertaining. Because it is so influential. As we keep saying, like, this seems familiar because
you've seen something else
later on already did this. It's good, but to see it just executed so well on a regular basis. So let's just hold on. Let's hope we keep it up.
Yeah, it is Toei, so there's always a chance that schedule issues will occur, but they're doing pretty good, I feel, across the
I
board.
think it's more because it's a Dragon Quest cartoon. Like, it's probably going to have like 90% of the office is going to be played a Dragon Quest game, probably multiple ones in their lifetime, and they're big fans of it, so they're probably excited.
Yeah, and of course the other thing the other advantage it's got is it's a complete story.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
There's no need to pad it out at all.
There's no need to pad it out. Everyone probably has everyone who's familiar with the comic probably has a really good idea of where the story beats should take place, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we've got Gymnastics Samurai, episode 3, Dueling Samurai. Was this kid in the last episode? I didn't see episode 2. The new guy.
He showed up at the very end.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Tetsuya Minamino.
Who the guy who's going to take this sports anime seriously, like everybody else around here. And he's mad that Jotaro faked his retirement just to get attention. And so he challenges him to a duel. And if he loses, you have to quit gymnastics once and for all. And so the coach agrees, but in a month and a half's time, because we've got to get him back up to fighting fitness.
We're not going to do it right now. That's not how gymnastics works. You got to train for the meet and then do it. Which, that's sensible. And he's also saying, well, like, this is perfect because lights a fire and it gives you a challenge to overcome, but it's not like anything fucking serious. It's not like a competition or anything. So we can get you in fighting shape. And also we can base it off trying to beat this guy and his way of doing it.
Yeah. And of course, Leo's like, duel, yay.
The samurai shall be victorious. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just all the lead up to that. The training, we get a training montage with a very 80s
Kenny Loggins homage, because it is Danger Zone, but not quite.
Yeah, very fucking close at various parts. But I did like it was kind of with the daughter watching action movies as she tends to do. Where did she get that Rambo topper for the cake? That was excellent.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Me like little Ray, like she is like a real good kid because she's, I guess, her dad is kind of a bit. You can get his head in the clouds about gymnastics a little much. She's had to do a bit of growing up and kind of mind him as well. But she's supportive of him as well. All he he's doing, but she knows like, oh yeah, she's got a good head in her shoulders. It's nice that she's in this like really I suppose whiny or needy child, which there's a certain tragedy there too, but
yeah,
nice.
Yeah. It was also nice no one give out to Big Bird this time.
Well, Big Bird's the one who gives it out when Leo's trying to figure out who's going to come, inviting everybody, and BB's like, I'm a bird. Probably not allowed in a gym, and also probably not that interested in gymnastics.
I have the ability of flight. I do not need to spin around on a bar. I
do like that the rapping gymnast still has his beat whenever he enters a scene, and also that he's now started dressing like a ninja because that's the new fashion.
Yeah. Trying to ask Ayu, the barmaid out on the date, is like,
yeah, but he's trying to dance around it. It's like, let's get something to eat. He's like, yeah, here's the menu.
What do you want?
No, I mean, like, we can order something outside. It's like, we serve food. Don't bring in any outside food. And he's like, I need to be more obvious about this or something. He's not quite getting it right.
Then we get the duel, and it goes. He almost makes the same mistake he made at the start of the very first episode.
Yeah. He's been told by the coach, don't do your signature move to Aragaki. We do the triple flip and catch onto the bar again. That's the one that did your shoulder in the first place, and you're not up to that yet. Not right now, that's yet. So just do like the routine, do the other stuff, but do like pitch perfect. That's what we need you to be doing right now.
Yeah. In the montage, they were looking at videos of your man going like, okay, look at here where his legs separate. He's got a near flawless routine, but it does have flaws. So all you have to do is do a flawless routine, and you'll be good.
Yeah, interestingly, if you do a difficult maneuver and you don't do it to satisfaction, you could actually lose points instead of gaining any.
Yeah.
So you gotta be careful, and you only do a hard move if you're confident you can land it very well.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's more so trying to do a flawless routine rather than do a particularly spectacular routine. Yeah.
And they kind of deal with the issue, and I'm not sure they deal with it super well, but it's definitely a technique. The issue of using CGI models to do the gymnastics kind of makes it look like that Takaratomi toy. Where you,
The little squeezy,
where you have to you have to swing the guy around and around and let go of him at the right point to make him land on his feet. Is that they cut to close-ups of the hands on the bar.
Yeah, like I think there was a few shots where they did animate traditional animate them, like in the face shots and that kind of thing. And if they were doing like a Land of Lustrous stuff where you do the hands and faces shots, hand animated, and then you have the CG model body, you probably could have got away with it. But yeah.
Yeah, but it does
Bit
look a lot
unfortunate.
like that toy. But I was impressed that was like, oh, well, that's how you do it. That's you get the technique by going in super close onto the body parts.
Yeah.
No, it was good. Like, it cut fairly rapidly in between. So as you see a different combination of techniques, even just doing like one move on the bar, say, but just the way it was cut together and edited, it just made it seem effective. Like it's not unnoticeable, but I can kind of see like I was worried, from the trailers, like, is it going to be all like this in gymnastics? Going to be all models, but they found other ways just to highlight different parts of it by just, like you say, zooming in on the cool details of it.
Yeah, and even with the CG, they obviously have like the bit where he kind of splits. He does the splits part way through, and it goes like, okay, we're cutting to this shot to show you that he is doing this with his legs, and it's like, okay, it's well done, it's well put together. Yeah.
So it goes well for Jotaro. Everyone is very happy for him. He's happy. It's all gone well. And then the kid hops on the bars and completely destroys him in terms of performance.
He does his own more maneuvered Aragaki right back at him. It's like, what's the ultimate fucking slap in the face?
But it's not so much a slap in the face, because he's like, holy shit, you fucking nailed my move. That's fucking excellent. That means that means that if you can do that, then I can move like further beyond that kind of thing. And it's like, no, you said you quit if I won. It's like, I did what? Sorry.
To go to class say, oh well, this wasn't on the books and won't affect your ranking anyway. Either. So you'd say, well, this never officially happened. So as far as the sports association knows, he's still in the running. So whatever. But he wouldn't try and trying to better this one. But the cat comes groveling, Ray comes over, like, come on, please let my dad do gymnastics. He makes him so happy. And Leo's going, yeah, let Joe keep doing gymnastics. Nin nin.
Well, he does the ninja technique of super groveling.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the coach also apologizes, and but I did like the fact it was like, oh, it's this 17-year-old kid's idea of like, oh, if I say this has to go. He has no obligation to quit based on this at all.
He's actually like inspired by how good you are in order to do better himself, which is just like, but no, you said you quit forever. It's like, but we're adults.
Also, wasn't a real wager because there was nothing in it for Jotaro, so
yes,
it doesn't. There were no like
oh, if I win, you're gonna quit gymnastics at 17, right?
Yeah.
No.
But Leo's the guy who's going to take it super seriously as well and do the full apology. And then the coach does his version of the apology because essentially he's exploiting this kid to get Jotaro up to speed and motivate him. But yeah, so he's still not happy. Still not happy after the apologies, but he begrudgingly accepts them and heads out.
Say hello to your new teammates. Ooh, sometime down the line.
Yes, I bet. And also, because the other key thing which is never commented on, but it's there for you, the viewer, to see, is the way that Leo's aping everything that Jotaro's doing in his training throughout the episode.
Yeah, where he kind of does like a little grasp at one of the when he lands back on the bars. He's just like, yeah, he fucking nailed it. It's kind of like your legs kicking when you see soccer and you're used to that, like nearly like muscle memory kind of kicking in.
But then, at the end, there's a couple of men discussing a fixed race of some kind. One thinks it was fixed, the other thinks you can't fix that sort of race.
They're pitching against the wall,
yes.
Brian. It isn't that complicated.
When they are interrupted by the three agents from episode 1. I will laugh if they are literally Men in Black and that Leo is an alien.
I'm fine with it going any way it wants because it is like doing like a kind of nice sports story, but it has these eccentricities to it that make it stand out from the sort of import. Also, about a sport
Yeah, yeah.
that maybe wouldn't get the same play as soccer or baseball or anything like that. So you can have that little bit of variety in it too. But just based on previous form of this creative team, I'm fine with them just to swerve it any way they want. We already have Big Bird in there, which raises
I feel like
questions of its
everything
own.
but
So
Big Bird
why
is
not?
very it's very realistic except for that fucking weird bird. That does seem sentient. Other than that, it seems fairly grounded.
So
Except for the special agents and the ninja. What am I even fucking talking about? It's a weird show.
Ganbarist Shun from 1996. That was the other big gymnastics anime that I can recall. I don't think Kaleido Star really counts. That's more sort of circus acrobatics.
Yeah.
There was other gymnastics ones, but I think they were the floor. Is it just floor gymnastics? It's called like the the dance routines with the ribbons and stuff. Rhythmic.
Yes.
Thank you. That's it. Rhythmic gymnastics. Rather than the spinny round bar gymnastics.
The only one I'm
wish I
thinking
knew the
of
fucking
is the Kudo sister from Ranma Half. And her anything goes rhythmic gymnastics martial arts. Okay, then Niall,
Oh,
tell us all about Healing Good, Pretty Cure, episode 30, The Group in Chaos, A Day at the Zoo.
well, they go to the zoo, and it's going like perfectly well for them. Now they're having a grand day out with the girls. While awesome tigers around this young lad, it's Kota. It's like, hey, I got some facts about tigers. Like, ooh, I didn't know that. Very impressive. It's like, haha, yeah, I'm a pretty smart little boy. Also, my dad is like a teacher from hanging out with him. It's like, oh, Sensei, good to see you. Oh, hello, girls, good to see you too. Let's show around the zoo. And it's like, by the way, my son's having a fight with his friend. We're meant to come with his friend's family today as well, but they had a bit of a fall on that, so don't mind. It's been okay, no problem. And the little boy is saying, "Oh, see how this girl is so different personalities. Like one's really ditzy and and then one is like really kind of like reserved and serious and focused, and then one of them just is be like this alien person who's learning about chips for the first time. But anyways, that's right, son. Sometimes people with different personalities can be really good friends. They might see it differently, but they are friends nonetheless. You see what I'm getting at here? No, especially not when I see my friend, because he came to the zoo separately with his dad. We're going to grab a little spat again. And it's just about like tigers are best. No, lions are best. No, tigers are best. No, lions are best. There's just kind of going around again. Oh yes, the girls having a good time. Even when they're getting lunch, you all get different foods. Like one's getting pizza, one's getting a salad, one's getting like a heinous Guy Fieri style burger. But because they're good friends, it's like, oh, can I try a bit of that? Sure, have a slice of that. Or I get to try different things together. Having different friends with different perspectives helps expand your worldview. Do you get me, son? It's like, still don't get you, Dad. Not quite sure what you're grabbing for there. Then the monsters attack. They've had a little meeting in the underworld in Germtown. And King Bio again, very impressed with how Darizen and Goiru, the little kind of sly one and the big muscly dude, have been doing experiments with the mega parts, making bigger monsters or different things. Like, oh yeah, very good. But Shindoi is there. I was like, I really like working for you too. Yeah, yeah, good work, lads. Keep making them mega part monsters and experimenting around. It's like, motherfucker. But he's like just making big giant monsters, and he's even making like other versions of us with the Terror Bio against. I gotta find something I can do with these things. And she figures it out. There's like kind of Darius is attacking because he finds harvest more parts. They have a little monster fight there. But she gets the idea. Okay, if he's can be put into anything, I'll try putting it into myself. Bum bum bum. What's it going to do there? The little kid rescues his friend in the chaos causing a monster attack because he's busted his ankle. It's like, leave me behind. He's like, no, man, let's get going. I'll carry you out of here. By the way, tigers are still cool. You saved my life, so I'll admit. But lions are still cooler. Yeah, so it's all right. Very good. And just about to, it's like escape of I found my dad. Oh, you want to ride home with us? Or here, fun. Said, no. I'll hang out for my dad. He went out to help people. Let's wait from here and go home with him. Say, where is Dad right now? Then Shin Doini turns up. She's been transmogrified a little bit. It's a much more elaborate costume. She has little affectations on her horns and a cape and a tail. It's like, oh. And I guess she's spreading around super germs. So it's like, oh, little boy, here, have some of my germs. And there's little bat wing germs flying through the air. And then his dad, the teacher, was like, son, no! You can see his tiny batwing microbe flying toward this boy. He leaps in the path, but it's like, oh! And like, Dad, no! And it's going to be a big cliffhanger, which we won't find out for the next 2 weeks. So taking a break next time.
Oh.
Well,
But,
Dwayne, you've been
Right.
frozen for the past half hour. I do
Oh,
apologise for not
no!
noticing. Good job we got Niall here to give us some other animation.
oh, good. Oh, gosh.
It doesn't look like I'm picking my nose again, do I?
No. No, it looks like
Okay.
I've just replaced you with a static image of you.
Oh. Actually, now I go back to the Skype window. I'm only seeing your profile picture on it.
Oh, that's really weird.
Yeah. Whoops. Views at home, right in. Like reviews and kind of critiques, questions, welcome. But also, if you've got any tech tips for us, to solve some of this shit, also welcome.
Tech tips for Dwayne, specifically.
I would turn the camera off and on again, but I know that might fuck up.
No,
the
we're
stream,
we're
so I'm
near
not
the
gonna
end
do
of the
it.
episode, so
Yeah. It's not worth messing up the episode at that stage.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty good. Pretty curious, pretty good. 2 thumbs up.
Then finally, we've got Moriarty the Patriot, episode 3, The Scarlet Eyes, part 2. In which this is the episode which I equate to like the reverse of the opening of Phantom Blood. So it's like if Jonathan
Dio
teamed
joined
up
the
with
household
Dio.
that was
Dio
above his
was the-
station,
was
but
the
was
hero.
the good guy about it while also being a bastard.
And they murder George together because he's a filthy noble.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens.
Like pretty much what we predicted happens, but like with more details. And I did like the build of it, and also you get more of the elder brothers kind of internal thinking. I was like, my family are fucking assholes.
Yeah. There's this weird sort of like almost like seduction quality to it, where this like pure innocent child showing me like, the way I should act upon my morals. I shouldn't be a coward about it. I should just really get in there and stick in the knife. Not even the knife, the broken off wooden leg of a table, plunge it in there myself and watch the light die out in his eyes because he was born a bastard and he'll die a bastard. I didn't know about whatever about the parents. Maybe it's too far for them, but you probably could have just like give the one younger the real William James Moriarty. It's a fun clip on the ear. He's a little shit. He's only like 10 years old.
No, he needed to show him his resolve before he could murder all of them.
Yes, he was mean to a maid, so.
No, I mean like he was sadistic. Like he got is the younger brother Lewis, or was that
it's Lewis that's why I'm getting the pronunciation as it's Lewis.
Yeah, okay, we're going with Lewis. Okay. Lewis is the younger brother. He gets him to make him tea, but he's like, "You think I drink tea by a filthy commoner like you?" Pours it on the ground. Look, you've stained the carpet. Lick it up, peasant. Kind of thing. His older brother comes in and is like, "I'll clean it up." And he's like, "Oh, you're going to take the thing for the crime, but you must punish him. Here, stab him with this fork." Stabs himself. Is like, "We good? We good? All right, see ya." And your man's kind of like, much and all he's a sadist. He's kind of like, "Whoa, I didn't think you're gonna stab yourself. That's pretty fucked up." But obviously that's the reversal of it. Instead of you stabbing someone else because you're a sadist, getting someone to stab you to prove that they're willing to go through with murdering you, I guess.
Yeah, it was like really good that kind of the internal things of with Albert there.
Oh, the pictures and then the reality are becoming like
just
burned nearly.
It's like kind of the family dinner. It's just like he's just droning on about, oh, we must go to the countess's ball. And oh, we should be going to college soon, young Master William. And it's just like it's slowly getting tuned out, and it's kind of like the noise sound that's coming from underwater. It's just nothing. You can't even look at them. It's can't even listen to their shit day in, day out, and he's just this blackness overwhelming his vision. They're just blotted out whenever he sees their faces. So you kind of see where he's what's coming from, how he's at this kind of pent up. It's why he's so pent up. He's has to be the nice eldest son all the time. He just wants to fucking let it out and just fucking hit somebody. He just want to stab somebody. Just the acting of it feels to be so cathartic.
There was nice visuals with that, with like initially like the pictures looking like they were getting burned or kind of distorted and blackened out, and eventually like he can't even look at his family. They're being like edited out of his vision, but then he can see that kind of swarming in around him, and he's sinking into the morass. He's like, if I'm like this, I'm just going to get as filthy and infected as the disease they're kind of spreading of just this damn classism.
It's a little different in the anime to how it is in the comic. In the comic, they ram. They ram like a chair leg in the little brother's mouth first before stabbing him while they're throttling the mother at the same time.
Jesus fuck.
I think like when I saw that those bits in the comic, I thought, oof, it's gonna be interesting to see how they render that, but I thought that this won't get passed down to practices. That's just needlessly thing.
Yeah, I can see why they changed it for this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Violent. I mean, it's just burning the house down.
Well, they did stab they did stab a child. But yeah, they do also burn everyone in the house.
Yeah, but they made sure that it didn't stab him so much that he wouldn't die immediately, because if on the off chance the coroner investigates this and finds your charred body, I want to see that you.
I want you to have died from smoke
inhalation. You were still breathing, and your lungs are full of ash and soot when they find you. It's like, oh.
I mean, like, it's not that he says that. It's not that he says that to him. It's like, well, now I fucking am. It's like, no, don't pull the chair leg out because you'll just bleed out. Then you'll die quicker. I need you to die slowly in a fire. Which is nasty.
I don't think the dad's in it at all in the comic either, in that first chapter. Oh no, there he is. He's in it for a little bit. But I think we see how he dies.
On fire in bed, I guess.
It's just the because in the comic it's the mum and the son who were plotting against them.
Okay. Is the butler in the comic?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just being a dick.
Because we don't see how he dies in the thing either. Presumably in the fire. Yeah.
Well, they all died in the fire. We know that for certain. They're all dead. They're all for certain. I mean, all guys staged perfectly so that the brothers can hide in the wine cellar, and which the fire won't get. Then it's airtight, so we won't die of smoking inhalation. We can emerge from the blaze. We've just been orphaned. There's no one but us brothers here. Even poor Lewis, who has gotten burned on the face, they know he picked it up like a glowing ember and pressed it to his own cheek just so he could show his own resolve that the other two brothers have.
Also, like, an injured kid. People are like, "Oh no, an injured kid."
Exactly.
But it's like the only ones who have survived are me, my blood brother, and my adoptive brother. Everyone else died in the fire.
Include the one we adopted. The other one we adopted, he's dead in the fire. That's the one you'll find in the fire. That one.
Yeah, that's the one who definitely burned up there. Look, his corpse is even in the room for the servant room or whatever the fuck the bedroom was. But I love the idea, because obviously one of the things over family talking at breakfast or whatever the fuck is just like, oh, I was accosted by some fucking ragamuffin saying he was thanking young Master William. You weren't talking to street urchins, where he was like, no, father, I would never talk to someone so filthy. But it's like, yeah, in public, everyone would be like, oh yeah, that's Master William. I recognize him. So their story will really carry, because it's like the older brother says, this is definitely my brother, and everyone in town knows this kid as that name. So I was just like, oh, the story totally checks out. I was like, oh, that's fucking sweet. I like that. Good stuff. Also, fuck that family.
What was I? Oh, I was reading about God, I can't remember whose rules of like writing mystery novels it was from like the earlier 20th century. And that's also what this is playing with to a degree. Is that the thing is it was the origin. I was looking up the origin of the Butler did it.
Right.
Because it was like basically saying you shouldn't make the people who commit the crimes of lower class. It should be characters of high class status who'd be above suspicion. And they
because they're so good naturally because of their breeding, they couldn't possibly be the murderer.
yeah, that's the thing. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously, I think that's what this is playing with, because even in this, they say, I don't know if they say it in the anime, but in the comic, they say people will just think the accident was caused by a negligent maid. Couldn't possibly be us rich nobles. It couldn't be the children who did it. Yeah. So I think that's what it's playing with, as well as like the idea of like, it's the way that inadvertently detective fiction kind of illustrates reality by doing that. It like these are the crimes got away with by the upper classes, and I guess in terms
as well,
in a detective fiction they get brought to justice.
That's why it feels so. You can see like the temptation of what the new always has been here. William James Moriarty is offering us this cause and effect. They don't bring anything positive into the world. If actually their negativity is themselves and is spread onto others, you would not normally be affected by it. So wouldn't it be better to get out? I can see the fucking temptation in it. I mean, it's Columbo as all get out as well, because he only goes after rich assholes who think they can escape it, and he just fucking brings them down, takes them apart brick by brick, and that makes it more satisfying as well, because we see this every fucking day with people who have little to no morals, and it seems to go hand in hand with this perceived standing they have in society, and they face no consequences for their wicked, vicious, and ignorant actions. But only in fiction can we find that escape, and that's what makes it so more cathartic. So
like,
this is
it still makes me
my
think
kind of shit right now.
It's absolutely speaking to me right now for sure. But part of me makes me think is that kid evil though? Because it recontextualizes those old scenes of him being the wise boy about town, and I was like, was that him trying to establish the alibi of I am totally the guy I'm going to be impersonating after I murder him?
My feeling based on like the imagery of the cover of the first issue and in the opening credits of him holding a gun to his own head is that I suspect that their idea will be the last nobles thrown on the fire.
Oh, he's setting himself up to be the biggest bastard to be sacrificed. Right.
I think once he's achieved his dreams, he's then expected that he'll also be removed because
that was part of his thing. He said, we're going to take on all the sins kind of thing. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's what I'm getting from this the initial imagery.
That'd be interesting as well, because like I think I said before, like it's maybe him leading fucking Sherlock Holmes. It's like, oh, this is a good guy. I'll have this fucker catch me, and then it'll look legit. Yeah.
Well, even just having someone like that, here is somebody maybe similar to me who was like pursuing and trying to enact like positive change and trying to bring the guilty to account when the other person would not be we'll go by through more virtuous means. I want to try and encourage him with my shenanigans and try and foster his ability as well.
It's good shit.
Yeah, it's very curious to see how it plays out. Particularly now we can read the comic as well, because they seem to be adapting them in a slightly different order and making some changes. And
I think now that the first 3 are out, I'll catch up on the comic, because I just kind of wanted to see how the anime was going to handle this bit, and it'd be nice to like you said, it'll be nice to contrast the different order and the different way it handles it.
But yeah, it's definitely a highlight. I'm really fascinated once they start introducing the other Sherlock Holmes cast.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to some knife fights in a graveyard. That's going to be fast.
I've weirdly got an incredibly tiny Nile appearing in the stream. That must be the signal to wrap things up. And also for me to go to transform, edit transform, and bounding box scale to outer bounds, I think. Okay. On screen editing of the stream. That's what people come for.
I have no idea why my video stopped. It seems to be fine for my thing, but who fucking knows?
Righty ho. What is coming up on the Secret of the Sailor Madness this week? Niall.
It is the Halloween special as always. It's something near and dear to our heart. You wouldn't miss it. So we got good mutual friend Anthony Askew on. He'll talk about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. The 1998 direct-to-TV movie that was credited with resurrecting from the grave the Scooby-Doo franchise. It's a pretty fun thing. Listen to it by the time you hear this. By time for Halloween. If you're hearing this much later, what you might do, go back and listen to that. It'll be fun.
It's a good time regardless.
Yes,
of,
you'll
the time
travel
of year.
back in time of day and go and listen to it for Halloween. Unless you listened to this stream, in which case you're sorted. Yeah, so I've got the anime that didn't make us up a week late because I was coughing. That is with me and Gary, and we're talking Mechadoc and Armored Police Metal Jack. Armored Police Metal Jack, which is very much like Jushin Liger, but with robots this time. And cyborgs. And then...
And cyborgs.
Coming up next month, I think it's already uploaded, so if you knew where to look, you could listen to it already. 8th of October, there should be a new episode of Dynamite in the Brain, which is another quarter chunk of Samurai Champloo with me, Anthony, and Marv, recorded in a work lunchtime. So you know it's exactly an hour long.
Nice. Without a rope, without a net even, yeah.
Yeah, it was the only time we could get Marv, so that's the way it went. Otherwise, we'll be back here next week with more of the same. Goodbye.
Bye.
Now let me switch these streams off in the correct order. End stream.